wished on the morning star. Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is that the sweet voice that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Oh, la 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 la. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. And so forth. It is a razor that leaves the soul to bleed. Some say love, it is hunger and endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes a chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the very, very lucky and the strong. Spring and fall in the winter, far beneath the bitter snow lies the sea that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, proud to have you here, Mr. Crow. And we will be remembering a little remembrance of Sue later this morning, so not too much later. Got my hanky handy, put a few over there. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, proud to have you here, Mr. Crow. And we will be remembering a little remembrance of Sue later this morning, so not too much later. Got my hanky handy, put a few over there. So this morning, my plan is that we'll all join together in the web of life around our planet and around ourselves. Then we're going to shift into a particular world need affecting our planet and mankind. That would be the coronavirus. So we're going to do a little practice visualizing the web of life in a meditation, and then we'll go into a meditation actually healing our little planet through these web lines, through these ley lines. If you'll join me, I want to light the candles, ignite our flames, to be precise. If you'll stand, I will do this. I call forth and dedicate this flame to Archangel Gabriel. I dedicate this flame to Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael.
This flame I dedicate to the Father, willpower.
The Father. Power.
This flame is to the Son.
The Son.
I dedicate this flame to Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael.
This flame I dedicate to the Father, willpower.
The Father. Power.
This flame is to the Son.
The Son.
And this flame is for brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
This flame I dedicate to Saint Germain.
Saint Germain.
And his transmuting violet flame. His gift. I dedicate this flame to the center of light.
The center of light.
This flame I call forth and dedicate to the center of light, Australia.
Center of light, Australia.
Take a minute. Got down to the nub. Good. And over here I call forth and dedicate this flame to friends and family.
Friends and family.
Good deal. I think those took well. I pass around the world, and in a minute I'll get to the prayer basket. It's clockwise. It's clockwise, isn't it? We could go counterclockwise. And this is the prayer basket, and it looks like there's been a lot of prayers in here. So we'll start this over here. Here we go. And I have something else to pass around. we could go counterclockwise. And this is the prayer basket, and it looks like there's been a lot of prayers in here. So we'll start this over here. There we go. And I have something else to pass around. And, well, looks like I have a lot of things to pass around. I tell you what, I'm going to leave the luncheon over here. Or do you want me to pass it around? I'm going to leave it here. This is not until March. And Nancy is the hostess, and she's determined casseroles is. And we've actually got a couple signed up. So it'll be here if you, and that would be the first Sunday in March. Now, okay, I'm going to pass around this little box. And in it are some precious stones. They all came from the, actually not all, some of them I kept brought from Arkansas, but some are from Texas. I'm not doing that one. But I want you to take one and use it during our meditations. And you're doing me a favor, you're charging it for me. Some of them are new, and some of them aren't. I've felt all of them, they all have good energy. And then at the end of service, you can place them back in the box, unless you feel a desperate need to keep it. There you go. And that way I can get them all charged up. And when it comes to you, Delcy, will you get Nancy one? And,
But Anna,
pardon?
can you show her, I wanted one from Arkansas because you and I both have
That's
some
right, yeah,
connection
picture
to
of
that. And I wanted to be sure that whatever stone I get, that it's from Arkansas.
All right, well, let me grab one before it's gone. You know what? Oh, it's a little one. There it is. It's a little one. But it's a good one. It's a generator, too.
Good.
Yeah, it's a generator. Thank you. Yeah. Most of them are a little bit bigger than that. Anyway, like I said, we'll do a couple of meditations. I was going to have Delcy do the announcements, but I think she's a little busy with her tissue, which I probably will be before the morning's over with. Okay, so for announcements, we have coming up the seminary meeting, not this Monday, but next Monday. And on a weekly basis, we had the board meeting today, and it was short for a change. Anything life-changing or?
Oh, I did want to mention that we approved a numerology class in March on Saturday afternoons. Anybody?
Date's right, not this Saturday.
Most everybody here knows that Sue's funeral services will be this Wednesday. Visitation from 5 to 6 at Laughlin Funeral Home. And then services will follow after that there at the funeral home. And then afterwards, we are planning a potluck reception here at the center for those who would like to come and share with us stories about Sue and remember and share with us stories about Sue and remembrances about her. So if you can help with that potluck, please let me know. Please let me know. I think all I'm asking for people to bring casseroles. You know, it's going to be during dinner time, so casseroles and salads, dessert, bread, that sort of thing. So if you have any questions, just let us know.
Someone said Marty.
Okay, back to you, Nancy. Would you play? We're going to sing a song, and she's going to tell us what it'll be.
Well, I'm always working on getting us connected and visualizing and all like that, so we're going to start with In the Silence. And I don't know the page number, let's see, 52 maybe.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow wins, good is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there. Peace is there. Truth is there. God is there.
Are you going to let me continue here?
Absolutely.
The songs? Okay. So in building our connection, we first of all center ourselves and get ourselves aligned. And then we behold the Christ in. So in building our connection, we first of all center ourselves and get ourselves aligned. And then we behold the Christ in each of us and ourselves. So I think it's 54, I behold the Christ in.
Yes.
Or I behold the Christ in.
Yes.
I behold the Christ in you. Hear the life of God I see. I can see a great peace too. I can see you whole and free. I behold the Christ in you. I can see this as you walk. I see this in all you do. I can see this as you talk. I behold God's love expressed. I can see you filled with power. I can see you ever blessed. See Christ in you hour by hour. I behold the Christ in you. I can see that perfect one, led by God in all you do. I can see God's work is done.
And the one final one for now, if it's all right, we'll close with the flow spirit.
Okay.
So the final one for now is, now we've centered. Now we behold the Christ in each of us respectively, and then we formulate our vision. So be thou our vision. And I have no idea what
Page
page
10.
it's on. 10, okay. And the one final one for now, if it's all right, we'll close with the flow spirit.
Okay.
So the final one for now is, now we've centered. Now we behold the Christ in each of us respectively, and then we formulate our vision. So be thou our vision. And I have no idea what
Page
page
10.
it's on. 10, okay.
Be thou my vision, O God of my heart. Not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best Lord, by day or by night. Waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, God. Thou my soul shelter, thou my high power. Raise thou me heavenward, O God of my power. Riches I heed not, nor world's empty praise. Thou my inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, first in my heart. Sovereign of heaven, my treasure thou art.
Thank you, Nancy. Oh, okay. Let's do decree. And, on page, no, I expand the love of Christ.
9.
Thank you, Ellen. I did not have this book at home, so I had the numbers quite. Page 9, I expand the love of Christ.
9.
Thank you, Together?
I vow to the Christ, I forgive all less than the Christ.
I open the door of my heart and let the Christ come in. I expand the love of the Christ to each one here. I expand the love of the Christ to all mankind. I expand the love of the Christ to the planet Earth and hold it in the center of my heart. Mighty Christ, fill my life with the magic of your joy. Mighty Christ, fill my life with the magic of your love. Mighty Christ, let your generosity and charity flow through me. Mighty Christ, outpicture through me this day.
The next one, the affirmation of fire.
Hey, Jake.
Thank you. Next door. The affirmation of fire. Together.
I bestow my goodness and warmth to all. I pour out my strength and calm.
Together.
I bestow my goodness and warmth to all. I pour out my strength and calm. I call upon the forces of good to prevail all things. I reach out beyond knowing and embrace oneness. I heal as I go, breathing the living word, restoring creation. So be it now and evermore.
Service on page. Service on page. Together.
I call to task the soul of each one gathered here today to search and reach with open heart for truth in all we do and say. With love and strength from inner halls, may inner forces guide this group throughout this day to gather light. Reach out in care to help a friend, no matter where our step may fall.
Okay. So, I was going to talk a bit about planet Earth. And, we're going to do a short meditation, and I've got a visual picture for us to look at. I love that picture. It's one of the better ones on the internet. So I'm going to sound the bowl. We'll go into meditation. Nancy's going to play a little bit on this one. The next one I'll let her join in a little more heavy. But we'll do this meditation, and I'll just have a short guide here, and then I'll stop. And it'll probably be about a 5, 6, 7 minute meditation. I just figure when we all just start coming out of it, then that'll be our cue. So let me see if I can get this bowl going. Spider's web with beautiful dewdrops glistening upon it in the early dawn. Then imagine that web in the 3rd and 4th dimensions, radiating out in all directions. You have just begun to visualize the beauty and majesty of the web of light. All of life is interconnected through this great grid of light. There are grids and force fields of light for every person in embodiment. These connect to all other forms of life, the trees and plant life, animal life, and even to the center of the earth, and to the auras of the masters themselves. All of this forms a vast and complex filigree pattern of interconnected light. In this beautiful pattern, the etheric retreats of the great white brotherhood appear as giant balls of light. They're centers of infinite lines of force that emanate from one retreat and radiate out to connect with other retreats, both in earth and into space. Through this web, you can flow your energy of love, joy, gratitude, compassion, and any virtue that you feel coming through. When one first individualized and felt I am, he began to magnetize primal life and radiate it forth. From this has come the result of what he is today. Each one is endowed with the power of magnetization to draw what is desired, and the power of radiation to radiate and give forth. These should be under the conscious control of the individual at all times. He should be a radiating force of light and power. We each have the power to block that which is not light and radiate forth the virtues. All right. Just find out where I am here. So, you know, the Earth has a sentient body. Is it Sanat Kumara? Or did it change? I know they hierarchy moves around. Anyway, so it is a sentient body that you can connect with, not only in the ley lines. Did everybody like visualize something and have to do with the lines? You know, it's might take some practice. That's why I wanted to do that first. It's when I found in my meditations that if everyone is so totally different, I don't really make a good connection. So when I get something I want to meditate on, I try to do that multiple times, multiple mornings, and it just gets stronger and more real and more visual to me, and I feel like it has a greater effect. But some of the other things I wrote down were the Earth moves through the radiation around the sun, through the cosmic qualities of the sun. They represent the 12 virtues under the direction of a cosmic being. Some of us know these are those 12 points of consciousness, 12 virtues. And they pour out that radiation to Earth, and they're only vibrations of good. And they pour forth no other influence from planets or stars, but this is just coming from the sun. So these currents and tides of energy pass through, and at certain conjunctions, they go into different intensities and different qualities, different virtues. And as they impact the human body, we are like the Holy Grail, I guess you'd say. So we absorb that and individualize that and become a radiating focus of that power. And it could be... So we're going to go back into this meditation. I actually had another vision of... This is my favorite vision of the world. This one is a little more complex, but I like it. So we can also look at that. So you can see that the grid is much like a human grid, you know, as above, so below. Because that's how I perceive my it wanted to play Motown. That's on beauty. So, we're going to go back into meditation. You'll close your eyes and visualize looking at the grid lines flowing around the Earth. And the virus can flow easily and go wherever it wants and make as much damage as it wants. Or as light workers, we can start to envision this meditation. In this meditation globe, and imagine China being at the epicenter. And we're going to cleanse it with light. Silver light due to its cleansing properties. And recall, we're all connected with the God source, with the silver cord, which sustains us. So see that silver light rippling through the grid lines. Use whatever light properties you feel is best with your individual body energy. You know, all the special sites around the world are sacred. And man is the Holy Grail. We activate the energy. We hold the energy. We are the sacred energy. Humble yourselves to allow that purity to cleanse any negativity misqualifying your life. You can direct through fiat this healing energy, spreading through all countries, all ley lines. I saw those balls there as relay stations, and as I pushed that silver light through, like a relay station, it would send it off like a train station, all different directions, but boost the energy. And then I had the visualization of these hosts of angels guarding each strand, keeping it, secure, I guess, and powerful and pure. And then over Wuhan was the silver dome that just came. And then specks, as they were cleansed, these specks of green sparkles were healing, stuff like that. Anybody else have something they want to add to that visualization?
Well, I had the silver, but then, you know how we do in our clearances for individuals a lot, that we call for the green and we call for the golden healing ray. And so I visualized green and gold working with that, and absolutely with the angels and cosmic beings assisting in its direction and application.
Anyway, it's something I plan to keep up for as fast as this is going, and I hope you all do too. Add your silver energy to that. I just realized, did I not light the platinum diamond? I didn't light that. Or did it go out?
No, you didn't light it, and the other three went out.
Oh. Does the TV put off any? It does put off a little air there, but well, I'm darn. There. Well, I am taking a minute to light the diamond platinum ray, calling forth. Well, I am taking a minute to light the diamond platinum ray, calling forth its strength and power to join us, and clearly they're where they want to be. I had saved this time for a personal healing intention, but then I asked Delcy if she would talk a little bit about her good friend. If you can, if you can't, that's all right. Her good friend Sue Crowell, your friend and teacher all these many years. I'm not the one to talk because I do not know her near as well as the rest of you. Can you talk, Delcy? Or
A little.
A little. Well, thank you. Just simple.
All y'all know me for a very long time, but some of you did not know me when I first came here. Well, at the other building. Sue and Peggy, I will say, took a very unorthodox, right word, stubborn, in a lot of ways extremely broken woman, and with a gentle hand in a lot of ways, and in some ways a firm hand and a grip. And in a lot of ways extremely broken woman, and with a gentle hand in a lot of ways, and in some ways a firm hand and a grip. And turned me into, or worked with me and helped turn me into a, I guess, a little bit more mature human being. Somebody that had a lot more compassion and love for people and things and understanding. And she helped me find a whole lot of my personality that was tamed a little bit more. A whole lot of what she did, and she did things with a gentle hand. She was never hurt. She was a taskmaster in lots of ways, and she became my teacher, my teacher for priesthood and everything. She gave you your assignment and asked you what to do and tell you what to do, and she understood what was hard for you to do in that way and what was easy for you to do, and what was the middle of the road, I guess, the way she taught. And for me, she found what was easier, what I registered to, I guess, as to how to teach. It with me was conversation, talking, letting things go, letting things out. It wasn't as much as writing 4,000 papers or reading 400 books. I did read, yes. I read with the blue books and everything, but she would divide it all up and give you small sections to read and say, now tell me what you think about it. Tell me how it meant to you. What was it? What did Raccoon would have to say to you? And that's how we communicated with a lot of my training in the priesthood. Through friendship, through a whole lot of laughter. I'll have to say that. Sue had a fabulous sense of humor. Really good sense of humor. She had to put up with me. But she knew how to get across to people. She knew how to communicate with that particular person's energy, their strong points, their weak points. She knew how to sit, and there's another thing, she knew how to listen. She knew when you said you were broken about something, but she never allowed you to wallow in what you were broken about. She says, now, as other things, people say, go to the moon, and how did it look from there? How did it look from there? Sue and I did a service one time together, and, well, everybody was lined up, and we had something that what did we have that weekend, Peggy? What was it?
It's been so long.
What did we have that weekend? Something big.
I'm thinking.
We had something
Maybe
big.
it was one of the equinox over there.
No, it was a big thing that wasn't here, but we had something real big. And then on Sunday, people from whatever we had came. So this gentleman was sitting next to Peggy, whoever he was. He's quite a distinguished gentleman in metaphysics and things. So everybody was in here, the place was packed, and here comes me walking in, and Sue crawled in to the service and was talking backwards. The whole service was, we were dead. We were already on the other side, and we were sitting and talking about our life here on the airplane. And it was hilarious. Of course, as you know, everybody else joined in with it. And so Peggy apologized to the gentleman for the head. I think he looked pretty good with it. He seemed to enjoy it. He wasn't bored. He didn't look like he was bored. And everybody just cackled and laughed. And of course,
Sounds like we must have done Spoon River.
it was different time.
Personalized.
Well, this was very personalized, and we talked back and forth. And then we sat down in a chair in the front, and we talked about Peggy. And shoe twirling and things like that, and we talked about all these personal things. Pat was probably there, because it didn't know that time. And we talked about all these different personal things about personal people. I know Jeanette was there. And we talked about everybody. And she was as funny as she possibly could be. And we ended up, the service went later than normal, but we had a really good time. That was who Sue was. That was the person she was. She made everything personal with whatever and however you vibrated to your own self and to people. She knew what she was doing with it. Yes, ma'am.
I would just love to say that in addition to that, I mean, wow, she was an incredible and flexible teacher.
Yes.
And she took, I don't know, tape and stuff and made me tarot cards and Kabbalah things so that I could, she made, it was craftsy oriented, and she would make that. And now, okay, so she was the education director for several years and responsible for several of the priests training them and things like that. But on another level, besides that, I loved, she helped, well, okay, she was one of the most can-do people that you could want to know. And she honored, okay, I have good color vision, but a lot of people think, well, if you could see it, you'd see it like I do. Well, not necessarily. Just as you might not, Donnell might not see it like Anna, or like, no, and not me either. Well, she redecorated.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just love to say that in addition to that, I mean, wow, she was an incredible and flexible teacher.
Yes.
And she took, I don't know, tape and stuff and made me tarot cards and Kabbalah things so that I could, she made, it was craftsy oriented, and she would make that. And now, okay, so she was the education director for several years and responsible for several of the priests training them and things like that. But on another level, besides that, I loved, she helped, well, okay, she was one of the most can-do people that you could want to know. And she honored, okay, I have good color vision, but a lot of people think, well, if you could see it, you'd see it like I do. Well, not necessarily. Just as you might not, Donnell might not see it like Anna, or like, no, and not me either. Well, she remodeled and redecorated my house. And she talked with me about my vision, and she made it, she added some things that I'd have never thought to add. But she honored my color preferences and made them, and helped me to get that expressed. My house was 900 square feet, and she helped me. She was like an efficiency engineer. She helped me, I got a stackable washer and dryer. She just was so creative, and people would come to my house and say, well, wait, how can I get in touch with her? Will she do mine? And Sue didn't, not that I know of, she didn't have degrees, but she worked at Intergraph along with all of them because she was just so incredibly
Talented.
resourceful and creative and talented and just, wow. And just such a wonderful friend.
If you're me, you can picture this. She would take an unpainted tarot card and make a copy of it. Then she took an X-Acto knife and narrow black tape and outlined everything on it so that Nancy's finger could follow that tape and then know what color to put in that
It was fun.
particular spot.
I read the stuff, but y'all, and then a friend that didn't know tarot came in and said, well, these are interesting colors. Such a wonderful friend.
If you're me, you can picture this. She would take an unpainted tarot card and make a copy of it. Then she took an X-Acto knife and narrow black tape and outlined everything on it so that Nancy's finger could follow that tape and then know what color to put in that
It was
particular
fun.
spot.
I read the stuff, but y'all, and then a friend that didn't know tarot came in and said, well, these are interesting colors, Nancy. Well, I didn't make them up, and it's not about me not being able to see. It's about what they symbolize, but that was fun.
Well, the spirit guide pictures were fabulous. I still have mine. I still look at mine all the time and use them. You know, what she did then and captured it and let you know that you really and truly, because I think we're all visual human beings. And the thing is, she would do the spirit guides and talk about it and talk to everything and give you something they said. But it also let you know that you really and truly are not here by yourself. You have a spirit guide somewhere along the line that's helping you out with whatever issue you've got, and that was it. And that's what she did. I think one thing too is you could call her up and ask her, my God, she had an answer. She had an answer, but at the same time she made you work on yourself and whatever it is to find the answer inside of you. That was the one key thing she did. She didn't just give it to you, she made you work for it.
Well, you can't give it, because you can't pour knowledge into somebody. You can help them find it.
But she
And
would
that's what she
she'd
did.
make you dig down inside of yourself and find the answer inside of you.
I'd like to say a few things about Sue. I've known Sue since the 70s. We were in seminary. We called it priest in training back then.
We call it.
We were in seminary. We called it priest in training back then.
We call it.
After,
I have the photos of her with, head wrapped around with
oh, I need
scarves.
those. I need those. Anybody have any photos of Sue?
We were a little
Please send them to
crazy
me
there.
because I want to put an album together.
Okay.
And then, but later when I came back, to Huntsville, and I started working at Intergraph, and Sue was working there, and she and I would go to lunch at least once a week. We go to Ado's, and we get in this little room with these little scarves that covered the door, and we would sit in there and take at least an hour and a half lunch, and we would talk metaphysical stuff. We would solve all the problems of the world. And she was so wise. I called her my wise owl, and that's how I saw her for many, many years. She was so wise. I called her my wise owl, and that's how I saw her for many, many years. She was my friend, my special friend, a mentor for me, and fellow priest, and just a loving, loving person. You never saw her, rarely ever saw her, unless she was in one of her emotional Piscean downslopes.
Waterfalls. With her
Yes,
smoking.
waterfalls. She always had a smile, just like the picture up there on there. Even the last time that I saw her with Delcy, we went over, Delcy cut her hair for her, and I went to see her, and she was just all smiles, all smiles. You could tell she understood you. You could tell that she understood what you were telling her, but coming back with a response to that was very, very difficult. And but you could kind of, if you really tuned into her, you could kind of understand what she was saying. So I'm going to miss my friend. She was a sweetheart to me, and I love her dearly. I've known her a long time, just like this. but you could kind of, if you really tuned into her, you could kind of understand what she was saying. So I'm going to miss my friend. She was a sweetheart to me, and I love her dearly. I've known her a long time, just like this one too.
I think one of the things that we need to acknowledge and appreciate with her art and everything is that's a picture that she
Yes,
did.
she
She's
did
hanging
that.
on the wall there. So
Absolutely.
her painting talents were quite extraordinary.
I lived on Quad for 5 years, and I would get to come back and visit with her, but at different times we would have issues and some problems there. And I'd get on the phone with her, and we'd have one of those conversations until the operators up there would shut us off. Like, you have to close, you have to shut off, you know, that. So, but we'd have, and she'd help me work out whatever it was that was the problem that we were having at that time. It's like it's not maybe that she didn't have all the answers, but I always felt inside of me that she always had all the answers. And then later on she told me no, she didn't have all the answers, but the answers were there in the room with the two of us, and we would work together to find the answer. And she always taught me one thing: there are no pat one answer to most anything unless it's math.
Yeah, and she would say, she would tell you what she knew, but then she said a lot of time it was just bullshit.
Yeah.
And her bullshit was better than some of my own knowledge.
That's
So, I mean, even though she called it that, it was coming from somewhere inside her.
Right.
That, she had all this knowledge. She wrote classes and taught classes, and she has a legacy here. So, anyway.
Talking about going to Ada, she would go to the Chinese restaurants, and oh
Yeah.
my God, she would get their stash of fortune cookies.
That's right. That's right.
I guess I want to wrap it up. It's a beautiful day outside, and I know Sue is going to be out there with us today, or when she's ready. I know when
We've seen her.
you've seen
we've
her?
seen
Okay. So she made her special appearance. If it's okay, we'll close. I want everyone to go through the rest of the day remembering no journey is ever made alone. You're all surrounded by support from heaven and earth and friends. And we'll see each other again, and we'll return the flames. And it's hard to do looking at Sue. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here today and for remembering Sue. We've lost a sister. I return these flames. Love and appreciation. We made it. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Return her crystals.
I'll make it the box.
Thank you.
Oh, all right.
Here.
No, I haven't tried that. I was going to try
It's not going to focus on it. It focuses on the podium. But there, that's
Yeah.
She was Betty Sue.
Betty Sue.
Betty Sue Brown.
Yeah, the green one. We're done. Oh, look at this. I want to go through the dining room and back to the restroom. Okay, now, you kind of down.